Speaking of cores like Colorado Rockies, you had 9 RBIs. Like, and within like your first 2 months in the major leagues. I mean, when did you realize you drove in 9 runs? Did you know at that time, or it was just?
I don't know. I don't even know when I knew. A lot of people were calling me and stuff. But I mean, it's usually you can get those 4 hits in a game, and if nobody's on base, nobody's really talking about it. So obviously my teammates were getting on base, and I was just trying to drive them in.
Wow, and what's great is that tying Gil Hodges as well, like legendary Dodger first baseman. That's something else. Have you actually have you been in, speaking of first baseman on the Dodgers? Have you been in touch with like Duke Schneider or Wes Parker or Steve Garvey? Those guys.
Yeah, I met with Wes Parker and Steve Garvey out in LA or in January.
Okay.
I was working with them too, just kind of picking their brain, talking to them.
Wow, and that's a good thing to be able to I mean, because those guys are great defenders, and great defensive players, and of course Steve Garvey, one of the great hitters.
Right, yeah, so. Both of them. I mean, they both, were both all around great players. So.
For sure, and now this is something else. The Dodgers organization, I would say, there's a plethora of young talent that's there, and I mean you have Russ Martin, and you have Matt Kemp, yourself, Andre Ethier, Blake DeWitt, I mean Chad Billingsley and Clayton Kershaw. I mean, coming up with those guys, like, talk about how special it is that all of you are having such early success, and talk about how special it is the coming up, as like a brotherhood.
Yeah, it was real special. I mean, in 2005 we won the AA championship.
In Jacksonville.
Yeah. And we just had a great team that year. It seemed like every game was, we played it like it was gonna be our last. And I think that's the mentality that the guys have. So. Wow,
and that's attributed to Dodger scouting, being able to know the mentality of those players to draft them. So.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I mean, every one of the guys that I've played with seems like they're trying to get better each and every day. They're not happy with what they did the day before. So I think that's what's gonna keep this team going. So.
Wow, and wanted to ask you this season, how's the season going so far for you, mentally and physically so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. There's been some ups and downs, obviously. But as far as consistency, I think I've been there pretty much the whole year. Just trying to, go out there and keep working, trying to be the best player that I can be. So.
Wow, and now for this year, for the 2008 Dodgers, I mean, there's a great mix of, as I discussed before, with the young players and some great veterans as well. Talk about how will that help you guys towards, in August and September when you're going for that playoff spot?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it always helps to have guys that have been there. And, some of the older guys, they know the situations, what's going on sometimes. They know what they're trying to do. So I think it definitely helps out. And anytime you have a good mix like that, I think it kind of outdoes like some of the other teams, because some of the other teams really don't have that chemistry as far as what type of players they have. But we know what we have. We know we got this guy, that guy. So.
Wow, and with Joe Torre, that's a great thing too. With Joe Torre being able to know how to mesh those personalities and things like that, And talk about the Annie Up for Africa poker night that was hosted by Don Cheadle and Annie Duke. Talk about that. Seemed like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I made it to, I think, the third table. So I think I was maybe top 25 out of 150 people.
Oh, okay.
But it was fun. Yeah, it was definitely a great charity to do it for. And some of my other teammates were out there. So,
because I know Don Cheadle's a big jazz fan as well. Because I'm a musician. That's my main thing, playing music, and it's great. It seems like it's great to have like artists and athletes that are into different things. Talk about your interests. Actually, what other interests are you interested in other than baseball and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm not really into poker too much, but I like getting out there every once in a while. We do, I got into basketball growing up a little, but I'm definitely into music. I used to play the saxophone.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day.
Alto or tenor?
The alto.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I could still play it.
All right.
And, but yeah, those are the main things, like music and sports, so.
Yeah, because it coincides. It's that discipline, and also too, like, that's what it takes, being able to manage time and know what you got to improve on. That's important. Right. So, and one other question I have for you, like, what advice that you receive like still resonates to this day with you?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the biggest thing for me is just to not take anything for granted. don't believe you're bigger than the world or whatever, and always keep working. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing I try to live on. So.
That's right. That's right. Wow. But I want to say, James, I thank you for your time.
Right.
And I know you guys are having a grueling, 4-game series here in New York. But I want to thank you for stopping by and so much to talk about. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Definitely.
Appreciate it.
All right.